Have you ever heard of love stories that defy logic and break all the rules? Get ready to dive into some of the weirdest love stories from ancient Egypt. The tales are filled with unexpected twists and turns that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love in the ancient world. What if I told you this relationship was more than just a political alliance? Cleopatra was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt. Her affair with Julius Caesar changed the course of history for both Egypt and Rome. They had a son named Caesar who was seen as a potential heir. This relationship showed how love can intertwine with power and ambition. Did you know their love story might have sparked a religious revolution? Akhenaten introduced worship of a single god, Aten, which was radical for the time. Titi was more than just a beautiful queen. She played a vital role in this change. Their love was marked by artistic depictions that showed a deep bond. This story reveals how love can inspire drastic changes in society. What if love letters could change the way we view ancient relationships? Ramses II wrote heartfelt letters to his wife, Neferteri, that still exist today. These letters express deep affection and admiration, a rarity in ancient text. They highlight the importance of emotional connection in a powerful relationship. This story shows that love can transcend time and remain powerful even centuries later. Did you know this myth involves betrayal and resurrection? Osiris was killed by his brother Set, but Isis's love brought him back to life. Their bond represents the power of love and loyalty, even in the face of death. This myth illustrates how love can conquer even the most formidable obstacles. You'll see how their story became a symbol of hope in ancient Egyptian culture. What if some Egyptians believed in marrying animals as a sign of devotion? Many ancient Egyptians worshipped animal deities, creating a connection to their gods. This led to unusual practices where people would honor these deities in unique ways. You'll learn how this belief reflects the complexity of love and devotion in ancient Egypt. It challenges our understanding of love, showing it can take many forms. What if love could alter the course of a kingdom? Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs, ruled alongside her stepson, Thutmose III. Their relationship was politically motivated, but also complex and intriguing. Hatshepsut took on a male persona to secure her power, blending love and politics. This story highlights how love and power can coexist in unexpected ways. Did you know Sinuhe's story intertwines love and exile? After fleeing Egypt, Sinuhe found love in foreign lands but longed for home. His tale explores the pain of separation and the desire to return to loved ones. This narrative showcases how love can drive individuals to make difficult choices. Idea that love knows no borders, even in ancient times. What if love was a public affair in ancient Egyptian society? Pharaohs often had multiple wives and concubines, showcasing love in various forms. The grandeur of their love lives was depicted in art and literature. This era demonstrates how love was celebrated, despite its complexity. You'll see how these stories reflect societal norms and values regarding relationships. What if love was rooted in envy and revenge? Set, the god of chaos, had a tumultuous relationship with his wife, Nephthys. Their love story reveals the darker side of relationships in mythology. This tale exemplifies how love can be intertwined with conflict and betrayal. You'll discover how such narratives offer lessons on the complexities of love. Did you know that love had a direct connection to the afterlife in ancient Egypt? In the judgment of the dead, hearts were weighed against a feather to determine worthiness. This belief highlights the importance of love and morality in one's life. You'll see how love was intertwined with spirituality and the afterlife. It teaches that love not only impacts our lives but also our legacies. What if you could earn your way to love in ancient Egypt? The story of Meritt shows how laborers were valued for their devotion to family. Their humble love reflects the universal need for connection and support. This tale showcases the beauty in everyday relationships among common people. You'll learn that love often flourishes in simplicity. What if this love affair was doomed from the start? The passionate romance between Cleopatra and Mark Antony was marked by war and political intrigue. This story illustrates the sacrifices made in the name of love. You'll see how such relationships can change the fate of empires. Did you know inbreeding was a common practice among royal families for love? The Ptolemaic dynasty frequently married within the family to keep power. Their strange love practices highlight the lengths people go to secure loyalty. This narrative explores the tension between love and political strategy. You'll learn that love often intersects with power in surprising ways. What if sibling rivalry turned into a tale of love and redemption? The story of the two brothers involves betrayal and forgiveness. It illustrates how love can lead to reconciliation and growth. You'll see how ancient Egyptians valued familial love and loyalty. This tale teaches that love can mend even the deepest rifts. What if love came in the form of a protector deity? Bes was a god of home and fertility, often depicted with a playful demeanor. His love for humanity showed that divine affection can be whimsical. This story reveals how ancient Egyptians viewed love through the lens of protection. You'll discover the ways love manifested in the lives of everyday people. Did you know these stories still influence modern interpretations of love? Ancient Egyptian love tales shaped literature, art, and cinema today. They serve as timeless reminders of the complexities of human emotion. You'll see how these stories have transcended time and culture. This realization shows that love remains a universal theme throughout history. What if ancient love letters held secrets to understanding understanding human emotions. Archaeologists have uncovered love letters that reveal intimate details. These letters offer insights into the lives and loves of ancient Egyptians. You'll learn how history can be unlocked through personal connections. This discovery emphasizes the importance of preserving love stories. What if you could learn about the strangest relationships in ancient Egypt? From unusual unions to unexpected betrayals, love took many forms. These stories challenge conventional wisdom about love's boundaries. You'll explore how love can manifest in the most unexpected ways. This exploration will inspire you to think differently about love itself. Did you know their love story might have sparked a religious revolution? Akhenaten introduced worship of a single god, Aten, which was radical for the time. Nefertiti was more than just a beautiful queen. She played a vital role in this change. Their love was marked by artistic depictions that showed a deep bond. This story reveals how love can inspire drastic changes in society. Akhenaten, originally named Amenhotep IV, changed everything when he became pharaoh. Most people think he just wanted a new god, but the reality is that his devotion to Nefertiti fueled this transformation. Imagine a time when polytheism was the norm, and suddenly, one man decides to change it all for love. Akhenaten believed that Aten, the sun disk, was the only true god, and he was willing to reshape an entire culture around this belief. What's fascinating is that Nefertiti was not just a passive figure in this relationship. She was depicted in art alongside Akhenaten, often shown as a powerful queen. They were a team, and their bond was strong. You'll see how they are represented in reliefs, holding hands and sharing intimate moments, a stark contrast to how most royal couples were portrayed in ancient Egypt. This transformation did not happen without backlash. Many traditional priests and citizens were not on board with the idea of forsaking their many gods. Akhenaten faced immense pressure from these groups. Imagine living in a world where your entire belief system is challenged, and you have a ruler pushing this agenda. You might wonder how their love endured amidst this chaos. Through this period, art flourished in new ways. Instead of the rigid and formal styles of previous eras, you'll notice a softer, more intimate approach to depiction during Akhenaten's reign. Statues of Akhenaten and Nefertiti were crafted to show their human side, flawed, affectionate, and real. This style was revolutionary and reflected their unique connection. As you dig deeper into their love story, it becomes clear that it was intertwined with the fate of Egypt itself. Akhenaten's reign was short-lived, and after his death, the return to traditional beliefs was swift and harsh. Many people think love can conquer all, but in this case, the reality was different. The legacy of Akhenaten and Nefertiti serves as a powerful reminder that love can inspire great change, but it can also lead to profound consequences. So, what can we learn from the tragic love of Akhenaten and Nefertiti? Their story illustrates the power of love to drive individuals to challenge norms, but it also highlights the potential for that love to be misunderstood or rejected by society. It's a tale that shows how love is not only a personal affair, but can ripple through the fabric of a culture, impacting generations to come. Did you know this myth involves betrayal and resurrection? Osiris was killed by his brother Set, but Isis's love brought him back to life. Their bond represents the power of love and loyalty, even in the face of death. This myth illustrates how love can conquer even the most formidable obstacles. You'll see how their story became a symbol of hope in ancient Egyptian culture. The tale of Isis and Osiris is one of the most powerful narratives in ancient Egyptian mythology. Most people think it's just a story of love and resurrection, but the reality is it dives deep into themes of betrayal and loyalty. Imagine a world where love has the power to defy even the strongest forces of chaos. This story is not just about two lovers. It's a reflection of the human condition itself. Osiris was not just any god. He was the god of the afterlife, the underworld, and the cycles of nature. He represented life, death, and rebirth, making his story incredibly rich with symbolism. What happens when the god of life is betrayed by his own brother? This question leads us to a conflict that resonates through history. Set, the god of chaos, was envious of Osiris and sought to eliminate him. The act of betrayal sets off a chain reaction that would change the lives of many. Isis, the devoted wife of Osiris, is a character worth noting. Did you know that her love for Osiris was so profound that she defied the odds to bring him back? She is not portrayed as a mere damsel in distress. Rather, she is a powerful figure in her own right. She used her intelligence and magical abilities to piece together the remains of Osiris after Set murdered him. This act of love shows that true devotion knows no bounds. You might find it surprising that Isis's actions led to the creation of sacred rituals that honored both her and Osiris. Their story doesn't just end with resurrection. Once brought back to life, Osiris could not walk among the living but instead became the ruler of the underworld. This twist raises an interesting point. How can love persist in the face of such adversity? It illustrates that even when physical love seems lost, emotional and spiritual connections can endure. This transition marks a significant moment in Egyptian mythology, indicating that love can transcend the barriers of life and death. The myth of Isis and Osiris also played a crucial role in ancient Egyptian culture. Their story became central to Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. People wanted to emulate their love and loyalty, believing it could help them navigate their own afterlives. Did you know that the annual festival of Osiris was celebrated with great fervor in ancient Egypt? It was a time when people would reenact a myth, showing their devotion and seeking blessings for their families. This celebration reflects how the love story of Osiris and Isis became intertwined with the fabric of society. As you delve into this myth, you'll discover that it symbolizes hope and resurrection. Osiris's return from the dead became a metaphor for the cyclical nature of life. The ancient Egyptians believed that through Osiris, they too could achieve immortality. This brings us to a key point. Love is not just about possession, but also about legacy. Through their story, Isis and Osiris teach us that love can leave a lasting impact on the world, extending beyond the physical realm. Interestingly, this tale has many layers. Many people think it is simply a love story, but in truth, it encompasses themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the struggle for justice. The complexities of their relationship illustrate how love can be both beautiful and painful. Now, you'll see how their story has inspired countless works of art and literature throughout history, underscoring its timeless relevance. In summary, the love story of Isis and Osiris is one that showcases the power of love to overcome betrayal and even death. Their bond serves as a reminder that true love can endure despite the greatest challenge. This tale emphasizes the importance of loyalty and devotion, teaching us that love is a force that can shape destinies. As you reflect on their journey, consider how their story continues to inspire people today, encouraging us to cherish the connections we hold dear. What if some Egyptians believed in marrying animals as a sign of devotion? This belief might sound strange to us today, but it was an intriguing part of ancient Egyptian culture. Many ancient Egyptians worshipped animal deities, and this connection created unique relationships between humans and these divine beings. Some individuals even formed bonds with specific animals, considering them to be sacred companions. Imagine a world where love isn't limited to human relationships, but extends to the animal kingdom. This might challenge our understanding of love and devotion, presenting it in a way that seems foreign yet deeply significant. For the ancient Egyptians, animals like cats, dogs, and even bulls were revered and seen as manifestations of the divine. In ancient Egypt, animals were often associated with particular gods and goddesses. Take the cat, for instance. Cats were linked to the goddess Bastet, who represented home, fertility, and protection. Cat was not merely a pet. It was a symbol of love and care. Owning a cat was considered a sign of devotion, and Egyptians would go to great lengths to ensure their well-being. Did you know that harming a cat was punishable by death? This shows how deeply ingrained these beliefs were in their society. You might be surprised to learn that some Egyptians would even hold funerals for their animals, similar to those conducted for humans. The mummification of cats, for example, was a common practice. They would be buried with jewelry and other items to accompany them into the afterlife. This reflects a fascinating dimension of love, demonstrating how it transcended species and adhered to a belief in life beyond death. However, this love for animals wasn't just about worship. It also involved personal relationships. Some individuals believed that by marrying an animal or taking it as a companion, they were establishing a bond that would bring them closer to the divine. This unusual practice indicates a complex understanding of love that went beyond mere affection. It poses the question, how do we define love? In ancient Egypt, love could take many forms, even ones that challenge our contemporary views. This belief in animal-human unions also leads to some controversial ideas. Critics of these practices may argue that treating animals as equals in relationships raises ethical concerns. However, in ancient Egyptian society, this was viewed through a different lens, one that saw animals as vital participants in their spiritual and daily lives. The complexity of these beliefs reveals that love and devotion in ancient Egypt were not straightforward. Many people think love is exclusively human-centric, but the Egyptians showed us that it can expand beyond that, intertwining with spirituality and community. You'll learn about how these unique relationships reflect the complexities of love and devotion in ancient Egyptian culture. Consider the broader implications of these practices. The rituals and beliefs surrounding animal worship highlight the interconnectedness of life, death, and the divine. It illustrates how deeply spirituality permeated their understanding of love. As we dive deeper into this topic, you'll discover that love can manifest in ways that are often overlooked or misunderstood. The strange union of humans and animals in ancient Egypt serves as a reminder that love, in all its forms, is a universal theme that transcends time and culture. This exploration invites you to reflect on the nature of love itself. How does our understanding of love today compare to that of ancient Egyptians? In many ways, these stories challenge us to broaden our definitions and embrace the various ways love can be expressed. By examining these unusual relationships, we can gain valuable insights into the human experience and our connections with the world around us. Through these narratives, we are reminded that love can be found in the most unexpected places, pushing the boundaries of what we think we know. You'll be inspired to think differently about love itself and how it shapes our lives, relationships, and cultural practices. What if love could alter the course of a kingdom? Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs of ancient Egypt, presents a fascinating case of how love and power intertwined in unexpected ways. She ruled alongside her stepson, Thutmose III, during a time when female leadership was rare and often challenged. Hatshepsut was not just a powerful ruler. She was a woman who navigated the complexities of love and politics in a male-dominated society. To secure her power, she took on a male persona, dressing in traditional pharaoh's regalia and even adopting the title of king. This unusual approach highlighted her determination to be recognized as a legitimate ruler, which was revolutionary for her time. Living in a time when a woman could lead a kingdom while simultaneously balancing familial duties and public expectations. Hatshepsut's relationship with Thutmose III was more than just a political alliance. It was a blend of familial obligation and strategic governance. As her stepson, Thutmose III was initially groomed to take over the throne, yet Hatshepsut's strong leadership created a unique dynamic between them. Most people think political relationships are purely strategic, but Hatshepsut's case shows that personal bonds can influence governance profoundly. Their partnership was complex. While Hatshepsut was in power, Thutmose III was still young and learning, which created an intricate mentor-student dynamic. As Hatshepsut took on the responsibilities of pharaoh, she also forged a legacy that would resonate throughout history. This relationship allowed her to expand trade networks, launch monumental building projects, and promote arts and culture. For instance, she commissioned the magnificent temple at Deir el-Bahari, which stands as a testament to her reign. Did you know that this temple was designed to celebrate her achievements and honor the gods? It was a strategic move to cement her legacy in stone, literally and figuratively. However, the story of Hatshepsut and Thutmose III is not without its conflicts. After her death, Thutmose III sought to erase her memory, a move that raises questions about power dynamics in their relationship. This act of erasure illustrates the complexities of their bond. Was it a partnership built on respect, or were there underlying tensions that ultimately led to her being sidelined in the historical narrative? This narrative invites us to reflect on the nature of love and loyalty in the face of political ambition. Hatshepsut's rise to power shows how love can be a driving force for change, but it also reveals the fragility of such relationships when intertwined with power struggles. The love shared between Hatshepsut and Thutmose III was both a catalyst for a flourishing reign and a potential source of conflict. You might be surprised to learn that despite her powerful position, Hatshepsut faced significant resistance. Contemporary historians suggest that her gender was a constant obstacle, leading her to forge unconventional paths to maintain authority. The very act of ruling as a woman in ancient Egypt forced her to navigate the delicate balance of power and gender expectations. As we explore this relationship further, you'll see how Hatshepsut's reign redefined what it meant to be a female leader. Her story is not just about love, it's about ambition, resilience, and the lengths one must go to secure a legacy. Through this tale, we learn that love and leadership is multifaceted. It can inspire greatness, forge alliances, and also lead to rivalry. The relationship between Hatshepsut and Thutmose III exemplifies how personal connections shape political landscapes, echoing through the annals of history. Ultimately, the story of Hatshepsut challenges our conventional notions of love and power, pushing us to consider how these forces can coexist. In her narrative, we find lessons about strength, vulnerability, and the enduring impact of relationships on society. This exploration reminds us that love, in all its complexities, is a powerful force that shapes destiny. Did you know Sinuhe's story intertwines love and exile? The tale of Sinu, a character from ancient Egypt, explores the complex emotions surrounding love, loyalty, and the longing for home. After fleeing Egypt, Sinuhe found himself in foreign lands where he developed deep feelings for a local woman. This connection was intense, yet it was overshadowed by his yearning for his homeland and the people he left behind. Sinuhe's story begins during a time of political turmoil. Most people think that such conflicts only affect the powerful, but this narrative shows how even common individuals are deeply impacted. Sinuhe's life was forever changed when he fled Egypt following the death of Pharaoh Amenemhat I. Fearing for his life, it was a drastic decision, reflecting the intense emotional turmoil he experienced. Can you imagine the feelings of uncertainty and fear while leaving everything you know behind? As Sinuhe navigated through foreign lands, he encountered various cultures and customs, which shaped his understanding of love. His new relationship brought him joy, but it also created an internal struggle. Here lies a controversial point. While many believe that love can heal all wounds, Sinuhe's experience suggests otherwise. He was torn between his love for his new partner and his desire to return to Egypt, illustrating the conflict between personal happiness and loyalty to one's roots. Interestingly, Sinuhe's journey wasn't just about romance. It also highlighted the importance of identity. He faced a profound realization that love knows no borders. His story exemplifies the universal desire to belong somewhere, to feel connected to one's homeland, even amidst newfound love. This reveals a rare fact. Sinuhe's narrative was not just a love story, but a reflection on the human condition, showing how love complicates our identities and choices. Despite the warmth he found with his partner, Sinuhe ultimately longed for the familiar landscapes of Egypt, the sounds, the smells, the people. This longing illustrates a common theme in love stories throughout history: the pain of separation. Can you imagine the emotional toll of loving someone yet feeling an unshakable pull toward your homeland? As we delve deeper into Sinuhe's thoughts, it becomes clear that he wrestled with his decisions. The conflict he faced wasn't merely external. It was a profound internal battle between desire and duty. He yearned to return home but felt a deep connection with a woman who had become an essential part of his life. This internal conflict is something many people can relate to today. How often do we find ourselves torn between love and other commitments? Eventually, Sinuhe Sinu's longing became too strong to ignore. His story concludes with a significant decision to return to Egypt. This choice highlights a poignant lesson about the nature of love. It can be powerful enough to guide us back to our roots, even when we've established new connections elsewhere. Sinu's experience serves as a reminder that love is not just about the people we hold close, but also about the places that shape our identities. The resolution of Sinu's journey is not merely about finding a romantic partner. It's about reconciling his past with his present. His story reflects the universal theme of love's complexity, encompassing joy, sacrifice, and the need for belonging. As you consider Sinu's journey, think about how love influences your own life decisions. How does your personal history shape the relationships you build today? This exploration of Sinu's life teaches us that love is multifaceted, involving sacrifice, longing, and a deep connection to our roots. The story serves as a timeless reminder of how love transcends boundaries, and how it can drive us to make challenging choices. What if love was a public affair in ancient Egyptian society? The Ramesside period, often celebrated as a golden age of ancient Egypt, was marked not only by impressive architectural achievements and military conquests, but also by a unique approach to love and relationships. Imagine a world where love was a spectacle, openly displayed and shared, rather than confined to the private sphere. This era presents fascinating insights into how relationships were navigated in a society steeped in power and prestige. During this time, pharaohs often had multiple wives and concubines, showcasing love in various forms. This practice wasn't just about personal affection. It was a political strategy that reinforced power and influence. Most people think that love is only about two individuals, but in ancient Egypt, it often involved complex networks of relationships that could affect the entire kingdoms. One might say that love, in this context, was as much a tool of statecraft as it was an expression of personal desire. A strange fact from this period is that many couples were often depicted together in art, emphasizing their public affection. Imagine seeing a wall painting in a tomb that immortalizes a couple in an embrace, surrounded by their children and lavish gifts. This not only served to honor the love shared between them, but also acted as a political statement, projecting an image of stability and wealth. In this light, love served a dual purpose. It was a personal bond and a public proclamation of status. You might wonder how such practices were received by society. While many might view the concept of love as something private, the Egyptians celebrated it, highlighting that relationships could be as much about duty and alliance as they were about romance. For instance, the grandeur of their love lives was not simply depicted in art, but was also a part of public ceremonies and festivals, where the pharaoh's relationships were celebrated by all. Consider this: while pharaohs maintained vast harems, often filled with women from different parts of the empire, the relationships with these women varied significantly. Some were political alliances, crafted to secure peace or trade routes, while others were genuine romantic connections. This raises a controversial point. Could one truly love multiple partners equally? In a society where such practices were normalized, the very definition of love was complex and multifaceted. The Ramesside period also saw the emergence of love poetry, which offered a rare glimpse into the emotional landscape of the time. These poems expressed longing, desire, and the pain of separation, revealing that, despite the public nature of relationships, the emotions were profoundly personal. A fascinating yet little-known fact is that some of these love poems were written on papyrus and buried with the deceased, suggesting that love continued even in the afterlife. As we delve deeper, you'll discover how societal norms and values regarding relationships evolved during this period. Love was celebrated, but it was also tied to the expectations of maintaining power and influence. The public nature of love meant that personal feelings were often secondary to political ambitions. How does this contrast with today's views on love as a private matter? It challenges us to think differently about the interplay between personal relationships and societal expectations. This exploration of love in the Ramesside period teaches us that love was not simply an emotion, but a vital component of the societal structure. It illustrates the complexities of relationships and how they are influenced by cultural and political contexts. The legacy of this era is a reminder that love can take many forms, intertwining with ambition, duty, and identity in ways that are still relevant today. What if love was rooted in envy and revenge? Tumultuous love story of Set and Nephthys exemplifies this dramatic theme in ancient Egyptian mythology. Set, the god of chaos and disorder, had a complicated relationship with his wife, Nephthys, who represented the more nurturing and protective aspects of the divine. This relationship showcases the darker sides of love, how it can be intertwined with conflict, betrayal, and power struggles. Set's infamy as a disruptive force in the pantheon raises questions about the nature of love itself. Despite being married to Nephthys, Set's desire for power led him to commit heinous acts, including the murder of his brother Osiris, which had lasting repercussions for their family dynamics. One of the strangest aspects of this story is that Set and Nephthys, while linked by marriage, often found themselves on opposing sides of moral and ethical dilemmas. Did you know that Nephthys is often depicted as a protective figure, yet her loyalty is tested by the chaos that Set brings? This duality presents an intriguing question about how love can exist alongside betrayal. Set's jealousy and rage toward Osiris set the stage for conflict that would ripple throughout their lives. This This reveals how love can be overshadowed by ambition and the desire for dominance. Many might not realize that in some accounts Nephthys, despite her husband's actions, remains a steadfast figure, showing how love can endure even amid turmoil. As their story unfolds, it becomes clear that Set's actions not only lead to his downfall but also trap Nephthys in a cycle of suffering and loyalty. Her deep-rooted love for Osiris, her brother-in-law, complicates her relationship with Set further. It illustrates the painful reality that love can cause individuals to make difficult choices. In a world where divine beings exhibit such deep flaws, we are reminded that love isn't always about happiness. Sometimes it's about survival. The myth serves as a powerful lesson about the complexities of love, how it can lead to both creation and destruction, loyalty and betrayal. In essence, the relationship between Set and Nephthys challenges our conventional understanding of love, revealing its multifaceted nature and the potential for darkness that can lurk within it. You'll discover how such narratives offer insights into the struggles of love and the human condition, encouraging us to reflect on our own relationships and the emotions that drive them. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, love was intricately tied to the afterlife? The concept of the heart and feather was central to their beliefs, where the heart was weighed against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth and justice. This fascinating practice reflects how love and morality were deeply intertwined in the lives of the ancient Egyptians. In this myth, the heart represented the individual's soul, while the feathers symbolized purity and truth. The belief was that in the judgment of the dead, if one's heart was heavier than the feather, it indicated a life filled with wrongdoing, and the soul would face dire consequences. Conversely, if the heart balanced with the feather, it meant the deceased lived a life of virtue and love, allowing them to proceed into the afterlife. One of the most intriguing aspects of this belief system is that it emphasizes the importance of love and morality in one's life choices. Most people think that love is merely about affection and connection, but the reality is that love also demands accountability and integrity. It's controversial, yet true, that the ancient Egyptians held a significant belief that love could impact one's fate in the afterlife. This perspective challenges our modern understanding of love as being solely about personal happiness, pushing us to consider how our actions resonate beyond our immediate relationships. A little-known fact is that the ancient Egyptians often depicted this judgment scene in tombs and temples, serving as a reminder for the living of the consequences of their actions. This symbolism reveals how intertwined love, morality, and the afterlife were in ancient Egyptian culture. As we delve deeper, we discover that love was not just a personal affair, but a foundational aspect of their spiritual beliefs. The heart and feather myth teaches that love transcends mere emotion. It embodies the essence of a person's life and legacy. You'll see how the balance of love and truth creates a pathway to eternal peace, illustrating that our choices in love ultimately define us. This myth serves as a powerful reminder that love and morality are not just ancient concepts, they are principles that still resonate today. In reflecting on our relationships, we might ask ourselves how we balance our hearts against the weight of our actions, understanding that love, intertwined with truth and accountability, shapes not only our present but also our eternal legacy. What if you could earn your way to love in ancient Egypt? The story of Meritt, a humble worker, illustrates a fascinating perspective on love and devotion that flourished among the common people. Meritt was not a royal or a person of high status. He was an ordinary laborer whose commitment to his family showcases the deep bonds that can exist outside the grand tales of pharaohs and queens. Meritt's relationship with his wife is documented in ancient texts, revealing how his love for her was expressed through dedication and hard work. Contrary to the common belief that love is often romanticized in grand gestures, Meritt's story reflects a more grounded reality. He worked tirelessly to provide for his family, demonstrating that love often manifests in the everyday sacrifices we make for those we care about. A curious aspect of their love story is that the Egyptians placed a high value on family and community, with relationships often defined by mutual respect and shared responsibilities. This view challenges the notion that love must be dramatic or full of passion. Instead, it suggests that true love can thrive in the quiet moments of support and care. Interestingly, most people think that love is only found in the upper echelons of society, but the reality is that love stories like Meritt's illustrate that love is universal and accessible to all. This notion might seem controversial, yet it highlights a more egalitarian view of love that transcends social class. In ancient Egyptian culture, love was intertwined with social values. The people believed that the strength of one's relationships could lead to a better life and legacy. Little known to many, the ancient Egyptians created celebrations and rituals that honored family ties and community bonds, further emphasizing the importance of love in everyday life. Meritt's humble love reflects a universal need for connection and support, reminding us that love often flourishes in simplicity. This perspective resonates even today, as many people find love in the small acts of kindness and support that form the foundation of lasting relationships. As we explore Meritt's story, it becomes clear that love is not merely an emotion. It's an enduring commitment that shapes our lives and our communities. The beauty of Meritt's love for his wife lies in its sincerity and strength, demonstrating that love is, at its core, about dedication and the shared journey of life. In the end, the tale of of Meritt and his wife teaches us that love exists in myriad forms, each deserving of recognition and celebration. This understanding opens our eyes to the richness of human experience, inviting us to appreciate the many ways love can manifest in our lives and the lives of others. What if this love affair was doomed from the start? Cleopatra and Mark Antony's passionate romance is a tale that captures the imagination, marked by grand gestures, political intrigue, and ultimately tragedy. Most people think of their relationship as a fairy tale romance, but the reality is much more complex. Their love story unfolded against a backdrop of war, shifting alliances, and immense pressure from the political landscape of the time. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, was not just a figurehead. She was a shrewd strategist. Her relationship with Mark Antony was rooted in mutual benefit. After Julius Caesar's assassination, Antony sought to consolidate power and strengthen his position against his rivals. Cleopatra, seeing an opportunity to secure Egypt's status and perhaps her own safety, allied with him. However, this alliance soon transformed into a passionate love affair that captivated the world. What makes their relationship so compelling is the blend of personal and political motivations. Many think love is purely romantic, but Cleopatra and Antony exemplify how love can be a tool for political maneuvering. They had 3 children together, and Cleopatra famously proclaimed that Antony would be the father of the next ruler of Egypt. But their union was not without its challenges. As their relationship deepened, so did the political stakes. The famous quote, "There is no choice but to go to war," encapsulates the growing tensions between Antony and Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus. Most viewers might see Antony as a tragic hero, but his decisions, impassioned by love, led to monumental consequences. The Battle of Actium, where Antony and Cleopatra faced Octavian's forces, was a pivotal moment, and their defeat signaled the end of their reign and their love story. An interesting yet controversial fact is that many believe Cleopatra's beauty was the primary reason for her power, yet historical accounts suggest it was her intelligence and cunning that truly made her formidable. This perception challenges the narrative that reduces her to a mere seductress. Despite their political motivations, there was undeniable passion. Cleopatra and Antony's relationship was marked by opulent displays of love, from extravagant feasts to lavish gifts. Their letters reveal a deep emotional connection, blending tenderness with ambition. One rare insight into their story is the discovery of artifacts and writings that highlight Cleopatra's role as a ruler, and not just as Antony's lover. She was educated, spoke several languages, and actively engaged in diplomacy. This perspective shifts the narrative from one of mere romance to one of partnership and leadership. As we delve deeper into their love story, we find the complexities of human emotion intertwined with the harsh realities of power. The tragic conclusion, where both lovers ultimately chose to take their lives rather than be captured, forces us to reflect on the price of love when mixed with ambition and war. In the end, Cleopatra and Mark Antony's affair is a powerful reminder that love can be both a beautiful bond and a dangerous game, especially when intertwined with politics. Their legacy continues to captivate, serving as a testament to the timeless nature of love's trials and tribulations, reminding us that even the most passionate love stories can have tragic endings. Did you know inbreeding was a common practice among royal families for love? The Ptolemaic dynasty, ruling over Egypt for nearly 3 centuries, frequently married within the family to keep power intact and ensure the continuation of their royal bloodline. This practice, while controversial, highlights the lengths people will go to secure loyalty and political advantage, often at the cost of health and genetic diversity. The Ptolemies are perhaps best known for their strategic marriages, where siblings often wed each other or close relatives. Most people think royal families were just about opulence and power, but the reality is that such unions were often fraught with danger and complexity. Genetic issues stemming from inbreeding led to a variety of health problems in the royal lineage, illustrating the harsh consequences of prioritizing bloodline over well-being. Take for instance Cleopatra VII, the last of the Ptolemaic rulers. Her relationships with her brothers, who were also her husbands, were not just politically motivated, but also a reflection of the culture of the time. While many see her as a shrewd political player, this aspect of her family life adds layers to her story. She was not only trying to maintain her throne, but also navigating the dangerous waters of familial loyalty and love. Interestingly, one of the lesser-known facts about the Ptolemaic dynasty is that their internal marriages led to the birth of children with serious health issues. For example, King Ptolemy VI had a son with significant mental and physical disabilities, which historians attribute to the effects of inbreeding. Such stories prompt us to consider the darker side of love and loyalty when intertwined with power. While the Ptolemies believed they were preserving their heritage, they were also ignoring the biological consequences that could arise from their actions. Many viewers might feel conflicted about these practices, as they highlight a tension between personal love and political necessity. This complex interplay shows how love often intersects with power in surprising ways. The Ptolemies' pursuit of love through inbreeding raises questions about the ethics of such practices, especially when viewed through a modern lens. The reality is that their choices ultimately shaped not only their dynasty, but also the future of Egypt, leading to its eventual fall to Roman rule. The story of the Ptolemies serves as a poignant reminder of how love, when entangled with with ambition and strategy, can have lasting impacts that go beyond personal relationships. It forces us to grapple with the implications of their decisions, what they sacrificed for love, and how those sacrifices echoed throughout history. Their legacy remains a testament to the complexities of love, loyalty, and the pursuit of power, inviting us to reflect on our definitions of love in the modern world. What if sibling rivalry turned into a tale of love and redemption? The legend of the two brothers unfolds a dramatic narrative that speaks volumes about familial loyalty and the power of forgiveness. This ancient Egyptian story revolves around two brothers, Anubis and Bata, whose bond is tested by jealousy and betrayal. Most people think sibling relationships are always straightforward, but the reality is that they can be complicated and fraught with deep-seated emotions. As the tale begins, we see the brothers living harmoniously on their estate, working together to thrive in a prosperous environment. They share everything: food, laughter, and the responsibilities of their land. However, when the wife of Anubis becomes infatuated with Bata, the seeds of conflict are sown. The problem escalates when Anubis's wife tries to seduce Bata. When he rejects her advances, she falsely accuses him of attempting to violate her. In a fit of rage, Anubis confronts Bata, leading to a dramatic conflict between the two. Bata, feeling betrayed and unwelcome, flees to the wilderness, believing he can never return. This marks a turning point in their relationship, where love transforms into anger and betrayal. Interestingly, while in the wilderness, Bata undergoes a transformative experience. A strange fact about this myth is that Bata is helped by the gods, who grant him supernatural abilities, including the ability to transform into a bull. This transformation is not just a plot device, it represents his strength and resilience. Most people might not realize that in ancient Egyptian mythology, animals often embody attributes that the characters need to develop, like courage or wisdom. As Bata embraces his new identity, he becomes a symbol of strength and purity, contrasting with the turmoil of his former life. However, he longs for reconciliation and love, not revenge. This creates a powerful conflict. Can love triumph over betrayal? The narrative holds suspense as the audience wonders whether the brothers will find a way to reconcile their differences. Meanwhile, Anubis is plagued by guilt over the actions he took against Bata. His regret drives him to seek out his brother, realizing that their bond is stronger than any quarrel. Story highlights the theme of redemption, suggesting that love can heal even the deepest wounds. In a surprising twist, Anubis finds Bata's home in the wilderness and discovers the bull that represents his brother. This leads to a moment of realization. The bull's identity is, in fact, Bata. The tale shows that love can manifest in various forms, transcending physical appearances and conflicts. Ultimately, the brothers reunite and Bata forgives Anubis. Their reconciliation demonstrates that love can mend even the deepest rifts. However, this tale does not shy away from the consequences of their actions. It serves as a cautionary reminder of how easily love can turn to hatred if not nurtured. The legend of the two brothers encapsulates the complexities of familial love, emphasizing that even in the face of betrayal, forgiveness and understanding can pave the way for redemption. This story encourages viewers to reflect on their relationships, suggesting that love, when put to the test, can emerge stronger than before. What if love came in the form of a protector deity? The unusual romance of the God Bes invites us to explore the fascinating relationship between humanity and divinity in ancient Egypt. Most people think of love as purely romantic, but the reality is that love can manifest in many unexpected forms, including that of a whimsical god. Bes, often depicted with a cheerful face and a stout body, is the god of home, fertility, and childbirth. He is unique among the Egyptian pantheon, as he doesn't fit the traditional mold of a god who resides in the heavens or possesses great power in the same way as Re or Osiris. Instead, Bes is a domestic deity, known for his protective nature over the household and the family. His role illustrates how ancient Egyptians viewed love through the lens of protection and security. Imagine the scene. In homes across ancient Egypt, small statues of Bes were placed to ward off evil spirits and to ensure a safe environment for children. This gives rise to a strange yet beautiful fact. Families invoked Bes's name in their daily lives, blending reverence with affection, and reflects the universal need for safety and love in every home, reminding us that love isn't just found in grand gestures, but also in the quiet protection of a caring deity. The story of Bes reveals the depth of affection that ancient Egyptians had for this god. They believed he brought joy and laughter, which are essential components of love. Curious fact is that he was often depicted dancing, playing musical instruments, and engaging in playful antics. Most people might be surprised to learn that his image was frequently included in childbirth scenes, emphasizing his protective and loving nature during one of life's most vulnerable moments. However, Bes's love wasn't limited to humans. He was also known for his fierce loyalty to the goddess Hathor, the embodiment of joy and motherhood. Their relationship highlights a compelling truth. Love can inspire partnerships between even the most unlikely of beings. This unusual romance challenges our traditional notions of love, showcasing how it can cross boundaries, including those between mortals and gods. As we delve deeper into the tales of Bes, we see a pattern emerge. His acts of protection were often tied to love and devotion. For example, it was believed that he would chase away any demons that threatened pregnant women and children, embodying a parental love that extends beyond human capabilities. And this aspect of his character presents a controversial yet thought-provoking idea. Could love manifest as a form of fierce guardianship? You might find it surprising that ancient Egyptians took their belief in Bes very seriously. Rituals dedicated to him were performed regularly, often involving music and dance, to invoke his spirit and protection. These ceremonies were not merely expressions of faith, they represented a tangible connection between families and their god, suggesting that love is a two-way street, where devotion is met with care. Ultimately, the story of Bes encourages us to rethink our understanding of love. It's not always romantic, it can also be nurturing, protective, and playful. His legacy in ancient Egyptian culture is a testament to the enduring power of love in all its forms, reminding us that love, in whatever shape it takes, has the ability to enrich our lives and keep us safe from harm. As we conclude our exploration of Bes, we find ourselves reflecting on the many ways love influences our lives today, from the guardianship of our loved ones to the joy of shared moments. The unusual romance of the God Bes is a powerful reminder that love is not confined to traditional boundaries, but can flourish in the most unexpected and delightful ways. Did you know these stories still influence modern interpretations of love? The legacy of Egyptian love stories is rich and profound, revealing the complexities of human emotion that resonate even today. Most people think that ancient love tales have little relevance now, but the reality is that these narratives shaped literature, art, and even cinema in ways we might not immediately recognize. Consider how love stories from ancient Egypt, with their intricate plots and deep emotional resonance, continue to inspire contemporary storytelling. Films and novels often draw from the archetypal themes found in these tales: sacrifice, longing, betrayal, and redemption. The connections between lovers in ancient Egypt were not merely personal. They often reflected the broader societal dynamics of power and faith. A rare fact that may surprise you is that many of the themes we see in today's romantic narratives, such as forbidden love or the trials of separation, are echoed in ancient Egyptian myth. For example, the love story of Isis and Osiris set a precedent for the portrayal of love that defies the odds. This myth illustrates how love can transcend even death, reminding us that true connection endures through the ages. Yet, the legacy of Egyptian love stories is not without its controversies. While we often romanticize these tales, it's essential to recognize that they were often intertwined with the politics of the time. Relationships like those of Cleopatra and Mark Antony or the Ptolemies demonstrate how love could be wielded as a tool of power. Such complexities challenge the notion of love as purely a personal affair, revealing how it can intersect with political strategy and ambition. As we explore the legacy of these stories, we see how they serve as timeless reminders of the human condition. Each tale provides insight into the values and beliefs of ancient Egyptians, illustrating their views on love, fidelity, and the consequences of desire. The stories are reflective of their society, where love was revered but also heavily influenced by the structures of power and duty. I find it interesting that ancient Egyptians didn't just record their love stories in texts. They immortalized them in art, sculptures, and everyday items. Objects like amulets and figurines were inscribed with symbols of love, showcasing the cultural significance placed on romantic relationships. This blend of art and emotion emphasizes how love was not only a personal experience, but also a communal one, celebrated and revered across societies. In summary, the legacy of Egyptian love stories is a fascinating tapestry of emotion, politics, and culture that continues to resonate in our modern understanding of love. As we reflect on these narratives, we gain valuable insights into how love shapes our lives and societies, highlighting its enduring power and significance throughout history. These ancient tales remind us that love in all its forms remains a universal theme that transcends time and culture. What if ancient love letters held secrets to understanding human emotions? Throughout history, love letters have served as intimate windows into the hearts of their writers, revealing the deep emotions and complex relationships that defined their lives. Archaeologists have uncovered many love letters from ancient Egypt that shed light on not only romantic relationships, but also the societal norms surrounding love during that time. One fascinating example is the letters of Pharaoh Ramses II to his beloved wife, Neferteri. These letters express not just affection, but also admiration and longing, demonstrating a level of emotional connection rarely seen in ancient texts. It's intriguing to think that even in a time of political strife and grand empire building, the personal sentiments of a ruler could shine through in such a heartfelt manner. However, most people believe that such profound expressions of love were reserved for the elite. But the reality is that love letters were found among various social classes, suggesting that the need for emotional expression transcended social boundaries. This challenges our perception of ancient Egyptian society, pushing us to recognize that love, in its many forms, was a universal human experience. A lesser-known fact is that these letters also reflect the gender dynamics of the time. While many letters were penned by men, revealing their feelings and desires, there are instances where women express their emotions candidly. This highlights a complexity in gender roles that may not align with the typical narratives of ancient societies being strictly patriarchal. In addition to personal sentiments, these letters provide insight into the daily lives of their authors, revealing information about social practices, family dynamics, and even economic conditions. By examining the language and style used in these letters, we can glean a better understanding of the values and expectations surrounding love and relationships in ancient Egypt. But as we dive deeper into these historical treasures, we uncover a problem that many of these letters faced: preservation. Many love letters have been lost to time due to the fragile nature of the materials used. This emphasizes the importance of preserving such artifacts not just for their content but for their ability to connect us to the emotional lives of people long gone. Moreover, the letters offer a glimpse into the societal norms and rituals surrounding love and marriage. For instance, it was not uncommon for arranged marriages to take place, yet the letters reveal that personal feelings could and did play a role in these unions. This adds a layer of complexity to our understanding of love, showing that even in a structured society, individual emotions could influence relationships. You may be surprised to learn that love letters also contained references to mythology and religion, illustrating how intertwined love was with the spiritual beliefs of the time. The sacredness of love was often celebrated in ways that reflected their beliefs about the divine, indicating that love was not only a personal experience but also a significant aspect of their cultural identity. As we explore the world of ancient love letters, we realize they serve as a bridge connecting us to the past, highlighting that the expressions of love, longing, and emotional connection are timeless. They reveal the enduring nature of human emotion, reminding us that despite the vast differences in time and culture, the core feelings of love, desire, and connection remain fundamentally the same. In summary, the mystery of the lost love letters from ancient Egypt unveils a world rich in emotion and personal connection, reflecting the complexities of human relationships. The preservation of these letters not only enriches our understanding of history, but also reinforces the notion that love in all its forms is a fundamental aspect of the human experience that transcends time and space. What if you could learn about the strangest relationships in ancient Egypt? Love, in its most peculiar forms, has been celebrated and scrutinized throughout history. The ancient Egyptians had their fair share of unusual love stories, from unexpected unions to shocking betrayals that challenge our modern understanding of romance. Take, for instance, the tale of the god Bes, who was not just a protector deity but also represented love and fertility. Often depicted with a playful demeanor, Bes was considered a guardian of families and children. His unconventional appearance, a short, squat figure with a lion-like face, defied traditional portrayals of beauty and heroism in ancient cultures. This raises a thought-provoking question: can love take on forms that are outside of societal norms? Bes's love for humanity was whimsical yet profound, showing that affection could manifest in ways that diverge from expectations. Then there's the story of the ancient Egyptian practice of forming relationships with animals. Some people genuinely believed that animals could serve as companions or even partners, reflecting a devotion that transcended species. This belief system stemmed from the veneration of animal deities like cats and dogs, which held significant cultural value. Imagine a society where love could extend to your pet. Such relationships challenge our contemporary views on companionship and fidelity. In another unexpected twist, consider the story of Pharaoh Hound, an ancient breed revered not just for its hunting prowess but also for its loyalty and companionship. The reverence for these dogs exemplifies a peculiar facet of love in ancient Egypt, showcasing how affection was not limited to humans. It leads us to ponder, how often do we overlook the emotional bonds we share with our pets in today's fast-paced world? Then there are the tales of scandalous love affairs that defied social norms. One particularly notorious couple was the love story of the high priest and a commoner. Their union raised eyebrows and sparked debates about class divisions. While many might assume that love conquers all, this narrative reveals a reality where societal pressures can lead to heart-wrenching decisions. This situation illustrates a universal truth: love is often fraught with challenges, and those barriers can lead to tragic outcomes. Speaking of tragic outcomes, how about the less discussed relationships formed through unrequited love? Ancient love poetry often reflects the pain of longing for someone unattainable. One poem describes a lover's deep affliction when their affection is not reciprocated, highlighting the emotional turmoil that such situations can incite. This resonates deeply with modern audiences, as many people have experienced the sting of unreturned feelings. It also reminds us that the heart's desire can lead to profound sorrow, a theme as timeless as love itself. Moreover, let's not forget the bizarre ritual of love spells and incantations, which were prevalent in ancient Egyptian culture. These rituals were performed with the hope of attracting a partner or securing affection from someone special. Imagine the lengths people would go to in the name of love, casting spells, consulting oracles, and even making sacrifices to deities. This aspect of ancient Egyptian life poses an intriguing question: what lengths would you go to for love? It reminds us that the quest for love can often lead to extreme measures, reflecting a universal desire for connection. In conclusion, the weirdest love stories from ancient Egypt challenge our preconceived notions about relationships. They remind us that love can be multifaceted, complex, and at times downright strange. From divine connections to unconventional unions, these tales illustrate that love has no boundaries. As we reflect on these historical narratives, we are invited to reconnect reconsider our definitions of love, loyalty, and companionship in our own lives. What other unusual love stories from the past might inspire us to think differently about love today? If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.